What it do? What it do? What it do? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Welcome to the Doctor of Love Friday. The Doctor of Love Friday. Man, I sometimes I just can't wait till Friday come because I think this is a beautiful thing when we're talking about love and relationships. Tonight we're gonna have a good show. I know we're gonna have a good show because we got a good guy on here. I'm kind of moving around. I got to keep moving because I was doing some work at the house here in Chicago, and mosquitoes ate me up. I was in shorts, and man, then didn't have to go. I ended up going to the Cubs. I went to the Cubs in the White Sox game, and it was like, man, it was hot. Well, we really didn't sit in the heat. We were underground in the restaurant eating because that's what I like to do. That's what I like to do. So we are waiting on Linda, the co-host. I just hit her, and she said she's gonna be logging in soon. So I want y'all to get your questions. Put your questions. Any questions you have right now, we will answer them. We will read them, and we will answer them. And tonight's guest. Bernard, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Sure. Bernard Robertson, former Chicago Bear, Buffalo Bill, and Oakland Raider, native New Orleanian, proud father of two and a bonus kid, and husband to Renisha, and business owner, entrepreneur, financial advisor, principal in the Hackett Robertson Tobe Group, which is a full service SEC registered financial service firm where we help people and organizations with their investments and financial management.
Yeah, when I first hit you, I said, man, send me who you play for. Actually, I didn't know you played for it. What was the last team you played for?
Oh, the Raiders.
I didn't know you played for the Raiders, man. Come on.
Yeah.
When you played for the Raiders, it wasn't the same Raiders from back in the days. Back in the days, Raiders was a team. They were the team to be reckoned with. They were mean.
When I came into the league, there were three teams that I absolutely wanted to get drafted by, and all three came to my workouts. And we were on the phone with all three of them leading up to me getting picked by the Bears in the draft. That was the Raiders, that was the Cowboys, and that was the Green Bay Packers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being from New Orleans, everybody thought it was the Saints. I was a little bit of a Saints fan, but more so, those are the teams that you grew up, iconic, players, iconic championships, everything. And being in that black hole was always a dream. So when, I was a free agent, I was finally unrestricted and was looking at where I was going, and Oakland popped up as a chance. My agent was like, look, they're talking serious numbers. Okay, where's the flaw in this? They're going to pay me. They're going to give me the money I'm asking for, and it's the Raiders, right?
Right.
I mean, we literally had training camp in Napa Valley. You can't get no better than that, right?
Exactly, right.
I'm used to being in training camp where it's 110. We're going to training camp, it's 70 and cool. I could take that, right? It was not the Raiders of, when I was
of the old.
It was not.
Man, in the 70s, oh my goodness, they used to they were thugs, bro. They were straight thugs.
It wasn't even the Raiders of the 90s.
Dang.
It was the 2000s, early 2000s, and I'm like, not the same team, right?
Right.
I was a little disappointed in that. Had some, teammates that I played with in some other locations that were there with me, and they had similar sentiment about it, but it was part of the dream come true. I got to hang out with old man Al for a little bit before he departed this earth, and got to have the pirate and the crossbones on my helmet for a little bit, and
right,
that was it.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna have to cut you off, but I'm gonna have to, I'm looking at your face. You my guy, and I'm used to seeing you. You one of my favorite guys from the NFL. But you know what? I have in backstage the beautiful my co-host,
Yeah.
She's the one to make this show what it is. Let me click her in. Let her introduce herself to you.
Hey there, hi Bernard.
Hi, how y'all doing?
I'm doing very well. What about you?
I'm good. I'm good. Sitting around talking about how you just added a lot of beauty to this.
Oh my
Uh-huh.
goodness.
Yeah,
Well,
because
thank
you look
you.
like he looking like a bear with all that stuff on his face. When you
Okay.
sent me those pictures, I said, "Whoa, okay." You
That
got the
Katrina
gray.
daddy is real.
That's good. Well, I'm Linda Streeter. I've been hanging out with Stephen on his show here. In Love and Relationship Matters is what I do. That's my
That's
life.
what you do.
Kind of, I don't often tell my story, but it's a relay of facts of relationships that just didn't work out, a couple of divorces. And then from that, moving to becoming, going back to school to really understand human behavior and dynamics, why we do what we do. So I studied psychology, went to graduate school to become a marriage and family therapist. And now I'm a relationship coach. I do conflict resolution and family court. So it's all about relationships and how we make those things work, and have become an author. So I've written 2 books. One is called The Art of Manifesting Love. We just need more love. That's all.
That's
And
right.
Yeah.
and
That's
the
what we.
second one is on the power of conflict. We need to learn how to talk and resolve our conflict instead of fighting and splitting up. So that's who I am.
That's cool. That's cool. So I want
Alrighty.
to welcome all of y'all. I want to welcome all y'all to the Doctor of Love Friday. So you can get your questions in right now. We will see them on the board, and we will answer all the questions we can. We're gonna go in order. We have questions already from last week, the week before, and then a lot of people sent in questions earlier. I see Phil Morton. What's up? I see Gina Hopkins. Are we all good? What's up, bro? I'm all good. I'm just sweaty because I'm at the baseball game today. But let's go. We got a question?
Okay,
Linda?
well, I have some that came through earlier today that you sent along, which I thought were pretty interesting. So, if we are ready to get started, and hi everyone, Peggy and
Hey,
Gina
Peggy. That's my
and
cousin,
Phil.
one of my favorite cousins.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so one of the first questions I have here, and this is a great one because I think we have 2 great men in the house who can speak to this. Does a man really want a woman who has something to offer him at his level of finance? Please explain.
Wow.
I'm kind of slow. You got to read it to me again.
Okay.
Slow it down. Slow it down.
Oh,
Slow it
I
down.
forgot, Stephen. You know what? You have to take it in little by little.
Yeah. I'm special. I wrote the short yellow bus. So now, when you read it, I got to close my eyes and really
Definitely.
feel it. Now, go
Okay,
ahead.
close your eyes so you can feel it.
Okay. Here we go.
Does a man really want a woman who has something to offer him at his level of finance? Please explain.
You wanna go first?
It's sure. I mean, as a financial advisor, I deal with couples and their finances a lot, and often it is a pain point and a cause of tension between the two, because no 2 people in a relationship see finances the same way. Most men see finances as being a way of securitizing their arrival in the world. So they look at it as, I have accomplished this, I have put this away, I have bought this to show what my worth is. And women look at it in a completely different way. The securitization comes in at safety. It's, I don't have to wake up in a strange place. I don't have to put my children, my offspring, in a dangerous situation for us to be able to have our needs met. And coming from those 2 different aspects, when folks are already wealthy or folks are doing well financially. Trying to force those two together usually is tough because the plans, the goals, the ultimate use of that wealth has a different meaning. Men do want a woman who has her own, but they still want a woman that will depend on them. So that's a little bit of that financial yield that will have to come in. That's not to say that he has to be the one to control the money in the relationship. It just, he has to be able to be seen as a provider and not just, I don't need you, I have my own. And vice versa with women, they need to look at it and be seen as being able to be as able to provide and bring something to the table as their significant other is. So that's usually what we see when it comes to that. So I would say, yes, guys do want that, but it's a tricky situation when the two are used to being independent of someone else.
Gosh, Bernard, that was good.
That was good. I can't even follow up on that.
You know what? Because it is exactly my sentiment, and I'm going to speak from a personal perspective. Like when you're trying to find your space, what I do know is that a man doesn't want a needy woman, but at the same time, his perspective is that he's looking at what she brings to the table. If he has matured past the body part, right. And then for a woman, it is very important. Even though, like, again, me personally, I'm well equipped to take care of myself. I've raised my children, and if I could raise kids by myself, I can certainly buy one sandwich a day at this point in life. Okay. So, and I would always tell my daughter, don't need it, but require it, because a man needs to feel that he's coming in to a relationship, from what I understand, that he has something to offer. And when he doesn't, it's one of those psychological ways that you can emasculate a man is to not need him. So exactly. I think that was great, Bernard. Really
great.
I feel like I just learned something as well.
By talking, yeah, exactly. You can learn a lot from the show. I mean, this is for all of us because I learn something every week. Let's keep giving shout outs. I see you, Mary Bridges. What's up, lady?
Hi, Cheryl. Good evening. Yeah.
Hey, Gail.
What's up? Okay. So this is a very good question here. So, Stephen, did you want to comment on that?
No, I'm good. Man, okay. Bernard answered that great, because I got to do less talking and let the guests do some talking.
Yeah, because what stood out for me for Bernard is that from a woman's perspective, what she needs in terms of security. Okay, ladies, you need to hear that because we all do. We want security and we want leadership in a man too. We like a man who can take charge and know what he's doing. Now, you're going to have a difficult time taking charge if you don't know what the heck you're doing, because we're not going to give you that kind of charge. Most of us.
But sometimes you just got to let a man be a man. And remember, he a man.
But he has to demonstrate that. You got
to remember, he's a man. Ladies, I'm going to just tell y'all out there, y'all must remember the man. No matter how soft he is, he's still the man.
You know what, Stephen? Softness is a different.
I ain't touching that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you.
It's different from a man who leads with wisdom, a man who knows what he's doing. Because I don't care if you're a man, if you don't know what you're doing with your own life, how do I trust you with mine to lead and to make those decisions? So, so men need to what it says. So, because when we don't go in that fashion, we go into a relationship out of order. So what it does say is that what I encourage men to do, men need to do a little bit more work on self-development, financial planning, because that's his role. And when he's not seated in that role, yes, he does feel a sense of emasculation and that he's not needed, he's disrespected, and those things. And so if you're going to lead, what I say to anyone, equip yourself to lead. You can't just come in leading as someone blind, equip yourself and we'll follow.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. But still, a man is a man and a woman is a woman. I ain't saying a woman is beneath you or beneath a man, but you got to remember there's only one man in the family.
True.
And not saying he has the final word or anything, but you got to respect that a man is a man. You
I do.
know?
And that's why a woman should not be in a relationship with a boy. She has to make sure she's in a relationship with a man.
Exactly. Where you can work together.
She
Where you
will,
can work together.
you work together. Exactly. You
Exactly.
can't be in a
You
relationship
you,
with a
you
boy.
really can build together, and that's part of what I would say we miss a lot, especially in the African American community where we used to have rites of passage, and we stopped having that. We skipped from being a child to, oh, you're of a certain age, so you have to be a man, without showing that journey, what it meant to become a man. And so I would definitely agree with you on that, Doctor, that it is something that you have to differentiate who's still a boy and who's a man, because being a male does not automatically qualify you as being a
Yeah.
man
And the leader.
and a leader.
Exactly.
When we had those rites of passage where you were being taught, and it's not a one of those archaic things. We're not sending everybody out into the woods with a stick and telling them go hunt a bear and come back. It's we're showing you how there are certain things where you're going to have certain skills. You're going to have financial literacy. You're going to have to learn how to respect not only yourself, but the woman and the people that you intend on leading. And then from there, you'll be surprised at the response that you get back, because people who see you as, quote unquote, having your stuff together, they will follow you, right? You will be able, right? They will literally come to you and say, okay, I need to know how you did what it is that you did, and I want to be just like you. Let me learn from you, or let me be with you. And that's how you end up becoming a leader.
And let me ask you guys a question, like just kind of piggyback on that. Do you really feel that young men are being prepared and equipped to be men? Because this is the problem we're running into. These are young guys out here who's going to be someone's baby's mama, daddy, your son-in-law, whoever. And what I find is that validation of their manhood has not been established. Just some of the fundamentals that are needed. You talked about the rite of passage, Bernard. How many in our community do a rite of passage for our young men that they can be men? They're growing up and they're saying, okay, you're grown now. And they tend to think they're growing, they're, set free out there in the world, that they know nothing about manhood, what it takes to lead, their finances. I mean, just to order their own lives. What's you all's thought on that?
I think we have too many women raising young men, young boys. There needs to be a man in the life of a young kid, of a young boy, because I see in relationships a lot that your baby mama's mad at you, so she won't let you. She'll hold that over your head and won't let you see the kid because she's mad at you. And the only thing is hurting, or only person is hurting is the kid.
Very true.
You know what I'm saying? You got to put your differences apart and raise that kid. You don't have to like me. Just drop my kid off. I'll respect you and you respect me, and that's the bottom line. But we have too much of even with grandparents. Parents get mad at the grandparents and won't let the grandparents see the kids, and that weighs off on the kids. Much as you guys don't believe that or understand it, dude, it's hectic out there for these kids, man. We always got to look around. You always look around, because you'd be surprised who's watching you when you're giving up, when you're done, when you're working out, Bernard. You gave it. You made it to the next level. You made it to the highest level possible. And if your kids see you out there working out, he's gonna grow up and work out just like you and never give up. But if he's around the corner watching you, and then all of a sudden you stop, you're like, oh man, I can't do this. He's gonna start saying, I can't do this. So we need to lead. We need to lead, and women need to let us help young boys. That I can see putting them in and stop bringing so many uncles into the relationship. You know what I'm saying? This your uncle Bernard. Next week it's your Uncle James. I was just saying, you know what I'm saying? It gets confusing. Kids don't understand. They don't understand.
Kids understand a lie. They know a lie. They know when something's not true. And that goes from birth to 18, if we want to use 18 as the mark that we're going to say they, start to become a man. But just like when we were playing, we didn't have one coach. You had many coaches.
Many
You had a
coaches.
position coach, you had a coordinator, you had a head coach, you had all of these different levels, and they all worked in tandem to get you, one player, to work with everybody else to do their job. And families work the exact same way. Um, my dad was a principal and educator. So he would always say, when I'm in the school building, I've got a lot of kids, not just you. Unfortunately had to go to his school too, right? So I was the PK and had to deal with all of that. But at the same time, you learn that while we were in those, those halls, those kids that were in that school were also my siblings from 8 to 3. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it, right? We all got the same treatment. We all got the same support. And they would add additional people around the kids, even though they were going home to parents, whether it was single parent household, 2-parent household, regardless. You can't raise a child in a situation where it's one parent or even 2 parents. You have to have grandparents, real aunts and uncles. You have to have godparents. You have to have a ton of folks pouring in to this individual to raise someone who's going to be a whole person. Because what we're having the problems with is incomplete people. We're not finishing the maturation and the development of these kids into adulthood. We're stopping short of helping them get to where they need to go, because all we want to do is hurry up and get them out of our house and off of our payroll, right? We want to make sure, oh, now you're old enough to go get your own job. Go ahead and get this. But I forgot to, introduce you to your real father. Or
Your real father.
And that's
crazy.
that is very true. And one of the most disheartening things that I've encountered while working in family court is the issue that we're speaking of now. And because of bitterness, this happens all the time. I actually started more or less being an advocacy to help men, especially if they were never married, how to, get their rights established through the courts, that they can become a legal parent. Because if you were never married to a woman, of course, you're not a legal parent, legal father. It's just the way the system is set up currently. And then secondly, for those who were married and have children, a man has to understand that when you have legal rights to a child established as the legal father, you have just as much rights as the mother. And if she's not cooperating with you, you have to take the responsibility to go through the court system to get your rights established. And I promise you it will be granted, because we're feeling this from a social perspective, as well as from a mental health perspective of the children who need their parents and they need extended family members in their life. So I just, out of everything we're saying tonight, for men to know that you have rights and you have to establish those rights. If you need some guidance on there, on that, of course, you can reach out to me and maybe we'll look into your state and see what you need to do to make it happen, because it does need to happen. But it's both parents' responsibility. Fathers, just because she tells you no, you have to understand you have just as much rights to that child as the mother does. So if she doesn't get the final say.
That is cool. That is cool. So let's read some of these comments on there. Michael Singletary says, I agree. It's very important that a man has his finances in order and his ideas and his convictions grounded.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
And then men these days are a little suspect. Phil said, Michael said again, I meant not make you a man. I mean, basically what we're saying can do. Women have to be careful to never emasculate a man. And I say to all women that you should not be in a relationship with any guy that you cannot contribute to his validity of a man. If you don't think that he's trustworthy, he is capable of leading and making decisions, you shouldn't be in a relationship with him. But you don't go into a relationship with someone and make them feel less than, or with someone you cannot respect. So very true. Maturity. Peggy, hey now y'all, come on and roll. Let me see. Michael said again, I'm seeing in these times that some women love to emasculate men. So I use that term like you all said. It happens. And it is these are damaged women. This goes back to one of the many things that we've talked about since doing this show is that how you enter relationships. I think that we really need to do a better vetting process with the people that you enter a relationship with. Because here many people are procreating with folk that they can't stand and can never get ahead on. And that doesn't help you nor your child. So we need to do a better job at taking our time, pushing that pause button, slow down, and choose partners that have similar views and values in mind as you, that you can have healthy children. You gonna
Yeah.
read more of those comments, Stephen?
Let's go through. Well, I didn't know where you left off. Where you
I
left off?
left
Where
off
you left off?
with, let me see. I think with Michael when he said that about the masculinity that men are often going through. So Gina said, "I agree, Steve," and then Michael Young again. Do you see now where they are? Many missed the mark because they are in single parent home. When they begin to smell themselves, they talk back to the mom and disrespectful. I heard that a lot. I've raised four sons, four, and I can tell you they are fully grown men because one of the things I taught them, I'm going to write a book on raising young males for the single women who are raising men. It is important that if you're raising a young man, don't be the type of mother who rules him around, who dominates him, and not allow him to learn how to make critical decision making. So one of the things I taught my son is that, a lot of things I did by default. So you have to know how to lead. You got to equip yourself. You got to educate yourself. Intellectualism is very, very important if you're going to lead a whole family. You're putting your mark on something, your name on something. So it's very important for you to know how to do that. So we just need to learn how to not dominate young men, but give them the skill set that they need, that they can become strong men and leaders.
Okay, I want to give a shout out to Can Do too, and Can Do, put up on the board where we can watch your show. Can Do is he is a DJ that plays very good music,
Yes.
pretty much every morning. So he's part of what is the name of the DJ thing?
San Diego
San
DJ.
Diego. Say it again.
San Diego DJ somethings.
Yeah, put it
Yeah.
up, Can Do. Put it up. And then also on every Tuesday night we have a Simi Braxton show. It's a radio show. He's on Facebook Live also. So Simi, come on up. You're probably watching. So post where we can catch you at. The Simi Braxton show every Tuesday from 6 to 8, 6-8 Pacific Standard Time. All right, let's go on. Do we have any more questions on here? Or are we going to just move to the
see, Michael wants to know, will the panel be addressing the comments being brought forth?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to do that. I know we get a lot of them
No,
in,
yeah.
and, like we get quite a few in, and we get an hour, and then we have questions that be pending too from the week. So we'll try to do that. So I don't know. Is there a point in there in the comments you want to address, Stephen, at this point?
No, it's Christy M said absolutely, it takes a village to raise. Yeah, it does. And that's what we've been away from for so many years, because these days bringing kids up, I mean, the courts have changed how we discipline our kids, and parents have got mad at other parents. Back in my days, I'm gonna just say, my mom used to beat the shit out of everybody on the street. If you were acting up, she was gonna get all of y'all. My mama was the parent of the neighborhood, so if I was on the next street, there's a parent of the neighborhood. They will get me. If the next street, if I act up, they would get me. So we were all raised by the neighborhood. These days, if somebody yells at your kid, man, you might get shot.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and I think one of the things that's happened, again, having worked in family court for years, is that people do not know how to separate the bitterness or the disappointment of their relationships from, parenthood.
Oh, yeah.
And if we could learn how to separate the two, just because you and I are not in relationship, at this time, it does not mean that we cannot co-parent and produce the best environment for our children. And I've seen people when just mediated cases where you have, a young lady who does not want the father nor the grandparents to be involved in the child's life. And to me, I think that's total nonsense and ludicrous to be that way, you know. And if the person or the family is that awful, why did you even have a baby for someone that you don't feel is capable of, or you know, has the capacity to help you co-parent your child? Children need a village. None of us are going to be here forever, and so you need to create a village for your children. And you know, I just think there needs to be more work on that part, and hopefully we'll get there even through this conversation, this kind of dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Like I said before, you know, we had my dad's frat brothers. They all worked at the school as well. So I remember getting in trouble in school myself, and they sent me to the principal's office, and I had to go and sit before my dad. And my dad just was so, you know, irate at what I did, he couldn't talk to me. But his frat brother said, "Oh, come here, I got you." And
Mm-hmm.
you know, yeah, we weren't supposed to have any corporal punishment at that time, but they take you in the back. We had a little paddle called Dr. Oakwood, right? And they would be like, "Come have a talk with the doctor," and everybody knew what that meant, right? And so you would get corrected. And although I wouldn't, you know, say I'm in favor of that or anything today, I would say that just the point of the village, where it is just as simple, where I've been asked on my kids' extracurricular teams, "Hey, I need you to just talk with this kid." You pull them off to the side. The parents are right there, but of course it's the parents, so they're pushing back against the parents. But somebody else, somebody they look up to, somebody that they respect, somebody that they just know of, being able to impart some other wisdom into them, and or, you know, be stern with them in a way that they're going to be receptive is key. And that's what we've cut off.
And I think, and I will say this, and I will say it again and again and again, you know, even with all of that, I just hope fathers can recognize that no one will ever, other people, I call them bonus people in your life, whether it be the principal or, you know, the village that you have around you, but no one takes up the place of a father. And I just hope that those who are fathers can really get the revelation of how significant their role as a father is in their son's life and their daughter's life. Daughters will seek the wrong relationship, all in an effort to seek that's missing in the fatherhood relationship, father-daughter relationship. And young men, they may not talk about it much when they're young, but they grow up angry because he was never there. All of these other people are great, but they cannot replace the role of a father. So I just hope moving forward that fathers would take more of a role and more responsibility at owning what belongs. They own everything else. You can't talk them out of anything else. How does a mother talk you out of being a father for your child? Or, you know, you say, well, she wouldn't let me be a parent and a father, and you just take that as an answer and walk away. You are not that lucid and passive about anything else in your life. And I think when it comes to parenthood, fathers have to take their position and be a parent. I don't care what she says. You have rights. That's what I want to say to God. You have rights, and if you don't know what they are, I'll help you find them. You have
You ever
rights.
hear happy life, happy wife, happy wife, happy life? That's why they run everything. You know, men, we're not confrontational. You know what I'm saying? We're not that way. So we try to yeah, some of us we don't care, but we try to get a respect to the lady and let them, you know, let them kind of some can kind of control us. But I ain't gonna get with that. Let's go back to Michael. Michael said the glitch is that women can't raise a man, and he don't think that is true. He said his mother raised 6 boys, and we all grew up to be what he thinks is fine men.
And I agree
fathers.
with Michael because I raised 4 sons. My youngest son is 35 now, and they're all great fathers. They don't beat their wives. They're responsible. They're all college graduates. So yes, women can do it, and I raised them. But again, it's knowing how to raise them. You know, knowing when to back off, to let them learn to express themselves, to talk about the values and the roles of a man, and not emasculate your young boys at a young age because they go into relationships where they're being ran by women. You got to help them out. Somebody has to help them out. But I'm with Michael. Women can do it. They can.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, Michael didn't grow up to be a great man. Michael used to bully me all the time. He always bullied me. So, Mike, you was a bully. I got cramp.
That was his strong manhood, Stephen.
I guess that he's still bullying me every time he sees me. Man, I got a cramp. I got a cramp in my leg. Oh my goodness.
So I think we need to talk about something else because it is 10:35.
Already, it goes by fast, man. We need to hear some more from Bernard. You got to do some more talking. Let's go.
Let's go to something different. Now, this is very interesting. This is something you said to me earlier, Stephen, where you said the question was, how do you love when your heart can't do it anymore?
Oh.
Okay, that's part one of the question. Just broken hopes and dreams. I have dreams, but don't match up anymore with my love. He has medical issues. Even before that, I was always caving in, telling myself one day, no matter what. I'm not sure what some of that means. Forever grateful to my love, but beautiful life for a beautiful life, but I am not willing to sit in the back rocking chair. So there's
I read that. I sent it to you earlier, and I kind of didn't understand it, but you kind of broke it down. Break it down with me, the first question, and I had something for that.
The first question was, how do you love when your heart can't do it anymore?
How do you love when your heart can't do it? Reinvent the love. Love changes every day. You don't let that light go out. You know what I'm saying? When it gets dim, you change up. You fall in love again. You start all over. You just don't give up. You can fall out of love, but you don't have to give up. You know what I'm saying? Just keep going. Because relationships, I've heard so many times that we grew apart. We always talk about it. You got to keep dating. You got to keep reinventing yourself. Every day we're reinventing yourself, because I wasn't the same person I was yesterday. So, you got to reinvent yourself to that relationship also. You got to continue to date. So that's my first part of that.
Yeah, I would add, you have to figure out what you want from the relationship in itself, right? Because just loving somebody isn't enough. Do you want to love them because you want to be with them when you're 60, when you're 80, when you're 100 years old? Then you have to understand that that's a long-term commitment. That's just like, if you start building a house today, it's not going to be ready tomorrow. And so you can't come in, to the work site tomorrow and just get frustrated. It's like, this house isn't built yet. It's going to take time, but you're building it and taking that time because you intend on having that property, that asset for a long period of time. Love works the exact same way. My grandfather used to always say, you fall in and out of like, you don't fall in and out of love. And the reason you don't fall in and out of love is because that love, you make a commitment long term. Now, I might not like her tomorrow because she didn't piss me off.
Mm-hmm.
I might not even talk to her. Might not sleep in the same room. I might even take a ride and might not come back for a day or two. But when I do, we come back and we got to immediately come back into it and talk about what caused me to want to leave, me not to like you right now, me to fall out of, like I should say, with you, and then work on healing that so that we can get to the next step. And the next step, like Steve was talking about, keep coming back over and over again.
Oh, I so agree with both of you guys. You make really great points there. And I would think it was maybe a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about this subject of love, what love was, or I can't remember exactly what it was, but I think it was Michael who said something like, you choose to love, And so what I'm hearing you say, Bernard, that resonate with that comment was that you can fall in, you can like a person, but you can love a person, but not like them.
Like a person, yeah.
And that's what I hear Bernard is saying, that, I love you, but I don't like who you are right now. I can remember saying that to one of my sons before. You know what? I love you, but I don't like who you are right now. And so sometimes we don't like one another. And what I'm hearing in this question here and all this dialogue that we got that I just read a moment ago is that here's a person who loves someone. And I don't think that, how do you love when your heart can't, your heart always love, because the heart is conditioned to love unconditionally. It's the way God created us. But now when it comes to liking someone, you ever been in love with someone that you can't stand,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that's
Sometimes
what
you
I'm
can't
hearing.
stand your wife,
But
but you love them to
love
death.
them. You can't
Yep.
stand them in this moment. And I think that's what this person is. And so I would say that in order to do that, something that you said, Stephen, was that you have to reignite the love, things you have to do. And more importantly than that, what I say to people is that we have got to learn to stop sweeping everything under the rug and learn to talk about issues. Because if it's something that's disturbing you and you can't have conversation about, you should be able to talk about anything. Whether you
Exactly.
agree on it, but you should feel, the longer you've been in a relationship, you should feel safe enough that you can have that discussion, and whether your partner agrees with it or not, you need to be able, it should be a sounding board that you can hear each other, and through that you learn how to process together. But when you're like stuffing things down for whatever the reasons are, people don't communicate because number one, they feel unheard. Number two, it may be because they feel they're going to be shut down, or you're going to get angry if I say certain things. The freedom there is, and when you're in a relationship with someone that you can say whatever you feel and nobody get offended.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's how you keep love going right there, because at some point you have to look at your spouse and say like, oh really, tell me more about that feeling, as opposed to what are you talking about?
Right.
You can't get upset. We have to leave the offenses out of this and
And
really be there for one another, to have dialogue about what makes us feel good, what doesn't make me feel good. And that way relationships don't grow old. What makes me feel sexy? What can we do to bring the spice back into the relationship? What are the new things we're going to try sexually, physically, and recognizing that intimacy is not just sex, but intimacy is something that happens throughout the day.
I
We
like
have
trying
to
new
do
things.
You have to do something.
Hey,
You must do
hey,
something. You have to
That's
do
y'all,
important.
somebody post some new positions up there.
Don't
No,
take
but
that
a lot of times people see people or couples tend to see another couple seem like they're doing great. You know what I'm saying? I get calls all the time. Even people stop me on the street. You have a beautiful family. I wish my family can be like yours. You got to trust your family. You got to trust your relationship, because I have just as many problems as the next person.
Yeah.
We all have problems. And everybody thinks that their problems are bigger than the next person's problem. We all have the same problems. That's all it. So stop worrying about how good this couple look over here and this family look. They got the same problems you got. The
Yeah.
grass ain't greener on the other side, because I believe me, I get this all the time. You have the perfect family. It's work. Relationship takes work. It's like a full-time job.
Well, I always say, Stephen, what's exposed is the glorious. That's the glorious side to everything. If you ask the entertainer, you ask the athlete such as yourself, when you're on the field, these are your glory days. All the good part of you is being exposed, your talents, your gifts, and all the beautiful things. But baby, when the curtains go down and the lights goes out, this is where rubber meets the road. This is where we are. How do we refortify? How do we help each other present well on the next day? So it's work to even present well. It just doesn't happen without effort. That's what I can say to people. You got to put forth the effort. You just got to make. If you want a rose garden, you want beauty in your relationship, do the work on the backside so that when you're out, people get to see just that.
Yeah. And hey, just put love in your heart and your relationships. Hey, Michael Singletary, I love you too, big dog. You know what I'm saying? I love you too. Let's read some more of the comments.
That right there. You and Mike were talking about, because I was reading the comments back and forth about that fraternal love as well. It's easier for us to have that good relationship with our best friend that's been, that's our boy. We grew up. We tell each other everything. If we step on each other's toes and be like, dude, you were wrong, we'll argue. We might even get into a physical fight, and then we get up and we laughing about it, and then you dust it off, and you be like, all right, for real, this is what I was feeling. Let me tell you why I don't like that, and you're good. We can have that communication with our best friend, but oftentimes we can't have that kind of communication with our significant other.
And that's what we should have.
But it should be one and the same. If
it should be.
Isn't your friend and y'all can't communicate, and even when you bump heads, come back and work that out like that, then there's counseling that's needed. And I tell folks all the time, don't be afraid of that. Counseling is having that impartial third party that can be almost.
There you go.
There you go. But the thing is, hey,
you know what? And sometimes you need, along with the counseling, as I tell people, I don't know why it is, we seek help for any other thing we feel that we're lacking in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to our relationship, that third neutral party, a counselor, a mediator to help you resolve conflict, you got to be open to more resources than what we have been conditioned not to believe in. We have to change that.
And we must open our minds and our hearts to let us know that we are partners. We're working together.
Exactly.
Because in a relationship, I'm telling you, you will respect what somebody else say before you respect what your husband say or your wife says. Because sometimes you don't want to hear it because you don't want to think. Sometimes you don't want to think they're right or over you. So we have to respect and work things out and talk things out and respect what your partner says.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about communication and how we communicate. So let's read some more of the comments.
Okay. Michael, let me see. Well, I hear some of them were, Stephen, when are you going to sing?
Who said that?
Was it Cheryl? Yeah, Cheryl Seaver, I believe it is.
Where's that at?
I don't know. You have to scroll down and roll up.
I'm slow. I'll be going.
And then Mary Bridges said, so true. You have to communicate. Very true. And see a couple of yes, Steve. True. Michael said again, I should think counseling was for suckers.
Yep.
Since rebuke that assessment. Thank you, Michael. That is so true because we have not been taught to do that. And maybe because we couldn't trust the people that be. But we have enough people who can identify with our struggles that are into the field of mental health or marriage and family therapy, that we are without excuses for seeking help. And if you want your relationship, I call it relationship hop. You can relationship hop all you want to, but you're going to get what you want in a relationship, not by finding the right person, but by becoming the right person for the person you're with.
Ooh.
So, you
say it.
You have to become.
Preach.
We're always looking for love and looking over here. This person, we handle each other like mechanical parts, and we're all broken pieces just trying to get somewhere. So you got to focus on becoming your best, and then you will make the best of whatever you have.
You sound like a counselor.
Okay, so
you sound like a counselor.
Yeah. So guys, look, don't be afraid. We invest in cars, homes, shoes, jeans, shirts, all to wear somebody else's name on us. But when it comes to our name, our relationship, our families, that's too much to spend.
Ooh, you know what? I just came up with an idea.
But we spend thousands on all of this other stuff. But when it comes to my name, I'm going to pay for somebody else's name.
Your brand. Hey, wear your brand.
What about your legacy? What about what you're leaving? I always say legacy is not the things you leave behind for your children, but it's what you leave in your children. What legacy are you leaving? Why aren't you investing in that?
Yeah.
Tangibles come and go, but we have to change up our investment strategies here, okay?
We have to.
Okay. So Wendy said counseling was something that the Black community did not believe in. Yes, times are changing. With the understanding of mental health is a real issue for all of us, and it is very prevalent in our community, and we really need to do better. And I just say to anyone, I try to talk to people because I do premarital counseling, I do assessment to prepare people for a healthy and a prosperous marriage. And what I have noticed, folks will spend tens, 30s, 40s, and hundreds of $1,000 for a ceremony that lasts 4 to 5 hours, including your reception, and won't spend $2,000 on preparing for the marriage. Now, does that make sense? Makes no sense at all, but it happens.
Yeah,
Makes
yeah.
no sense at all. Okay.
That's
So,
hey, that like Wendy say, black folks don't do that. I had that in my mind growing up. I'm like, I ain't never going to no counseling, because I was like, well, the person who be counseling got more problems than me. So that's how I believe.
that's how what
But
you believe.
yeah,
I
but
mean,
now
I-
I'm like,
And
same
you know
thing.
what? And
I
I,
had
and
the same experience until in college we were met with a sports psychologist, and we started learning more about psychology and psychiatry and what every great athlete, every great CEO of any Fortune 500 company, every one of them has that psychologist, that therapist that they go to retune their minds, their brains, their attitudes every time they go out
exactly.
to perform,
their
because
brand.
they're putting their brand first.
Yep.
Exactly.
Their brand.
Bernard, with that being said, something I always say to people, even when I'm doing counseling, I help couples prepare a marriage plan. And I talk about resources that you should have built into your marriage. And one is just that. You need a therapist. You need a non-biased party that you can go to, because life is going to happen to all of us. It's going to happen. There's nothing you can do about it. Life happens to us all, but you have to have resources. I just don't get it. We have resources. We talk about savings for tough times and emergency funds. Whatever happened to our relationships? We
Yeah.
must see the value in them, and
Yeah.
that your
We put
relationship,
that on the back burner.
we put it on the back burner. So, if you don't have someone in place that you can talk to about your personal growth, because as life happens to you, you need someone that you've established a relationship with, that you can pick up that phone and say, hey, you know what? I have some clients now. I may not have seen them in 6 months, a year. They pick up the phone and say, hey, can I get an appointment? You just need to flesh some things out of you, process some things. Hey, am I in the right place at this time? Where am I? You need that for your own sanity. So we can do better. I think we can go 10:52, Stephen. I haven't got to that
52.
point.
Man, I want to
Next
sing
question.
something for Cheryl too. Cheryl, I don't look like I'm gonna be able to sing anything for you tonight, because we only got what? We only got through like 2 questions.
Yeah. So here's another. We're gonna try to get through a third one. And I'm not quite sure of this one, but this is one that was sent in earlier today. What are your thoughts about passionate hugging and kissing?
Oh, that's my shit right there. Woo, man. Woo,
Okay.
that makes the love making great right there, man. I don't see how you people. Okay, when you have sex, I mean, if you don't kiss, that's kind of just doing it. That's effing. That's when you kiss, when you're kissing and hugging, that's love making. You know what I'm saying? That's the feeling, man. Ain't nothing better than that. But most people just they don't even kiss. They just do it. They just do the nasty. I love, man. Woo-hoo. Bring back the days of yesterday, where we could finally see the way. Y'all don't know nothing about. I posted that song, The Whinings, earlier today. So listen to it. Cheryl, go listen to that. Bring back the days of yesterday. Man, that brought up that song right there. So what y'all think about kissing and touching and
you want to go next, Bernard?
Yeah, because we want to hear him what he thinks, because he's a big lineman. And you think they're sensitive enough to be touching and hugging and kissing? That sounds kind of soft for a big man like him. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they do that kind of stuff.
Oh wow, yeah, okay, absolutely. Everything down to just holding hands, right? Looking at each other in the eyes, being vulnerable, that kind of intimacy is important, because what you're doing is you're further building that connection between the two of you all, and making sure that when you progress to the physical, right, you're touching and you're caressing and everything, you're not tense, you're not guarded, you're not open to the person that you're with, and you're not trying to rush and hurry up and get to the deed, if you will, so that you could just get a quick, feeling, and then on to the next thing.
What's the deed?
Oh, sex.
I just wanted you to say that, boy. You crazy.
You know what? So what I'm hearing, and this is what it always goes back to. I think that we have to learn the difference between sexual intercourse and intimacy. Intimacy is the holding hands. It is the kiss. It is touch. I did a post once where I talked about the power of touch. If you want to build intimacy, it's not about the sexual intercourse. When you get to that point there, you're at the end of the deal. And if you just come, like if you come in on the end of the deal, you don't miss everything, the process to get into the deal. Okay. And so when it comes to
Miss Bernard,
touch,
somebody just ran by butt naked in your background.
Yeah, I guarantee you that wasn't in my house.
No. Go ahead, Linda. I'm sorry.
It's okay. He had to mess with you, Bernard, on that. So my comment on that is that definitely, if you, it's just physical contact. Emotional and spiritual contact comes through touch. It comes to feel, through kissing. This is the romance that get you where you want to be. So when you get to the climactic moment, if you just go in and we go bam, 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 and that's over with. That's why a lot of times women are still lying there empty, because it's like, what just happened? You didn't even enjoy, you didn't get the experience of it. So men
all
can
30
really
seconds
slow
of
down.
it.
And so
30
we have
seconds
to slow
of
down.
it.
Intimacy starts from the moment you get up. It starts with sweet
Foreplay
throughout the day.
all day.
It's foreplay, and foreplay happens all day. It's and I heard someone else say it this way. Something I was listening to earlier, and where the guy said, if you want to, for men, intimacy is giving a woman what she needs while you get what you want. At the end of the deal, you want sex probably more than her, because she's looking at all the things she has to do. So intimacy for her may be pulling out that list and letting her know how special she is, that you're doing that to-do list that she wants. Oh, you're going to build some excitement toward the end of the day. Or it may be, I talk about there's one exercise that couples can do. It's called, I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but it's called tandem,
Oh, yeah.
And basically what happens in tandem, this is when you get to make love with the mind and with the eyes. Two people are positioned, and however they choose to expose themselves. And you start out with just just that straight eye contact, looking into each other's eyes. That in itself is very, very powerful. But we don't take time to do all these things that create the bliss at the end. We're busy trying to get to the bliss, and then both people walk out feeling unsatisfied. But
Not
just
both.
know that
The man most of the time, he's satisfied. He got what he needed.
it
he ain't thinking about the young lady.
Well, one of the things a good counselor and therapist will share with you is that there's the difference between somebody just said, I don't have to be politically correct, so I'm gonna say busting a nut and having an orgasm. So it's a little bit different, where the physical, you may ejaculate, you may come, and you have that, but you didn't orgasm. It's not the same.
Right.
It's a completely different feeling.
You know what, Bernard, it's like? This is a good analogy of it. When you're really thirsty and you drink sodas or whatever.
It don't quench it.
It doesn't quench it until you get the water. That's what that is like. You're fulfilling it. It's okay. You got this motion going on, but at the end of the day, guys do wake up incomplete. That's why they're constantly looking on the outside, because they're looking for that excitement that they didn't get last night. And for the woman, she's bored sick. So it's like, okay, what are we doing tonight? Because it's like, bam, bam, it's over with. There's nothing happening. You wake up, you got 24 hours, and the only time you connect is that 30 minutes that you have sexual intercourse.
You said 30 minutes? It's more like 30 seconds.
If that. That's what
They said 30 minutes. They said the average sex. They said the average sex is 15 minutes. That's average, 15 minutes.
Average. And so and that tells you there. That's the only piece that we give each other, that 15 minutes or that 5 minutes. What happened to the past 23 hours? 23 hours and in 45 minutes. What did
Well,
you do throughout that time?
that's where the Doctor of Love's book come in. It's coming soon, of love making. It's foreplay. It's all that. If you want your man to make love to you passionately for hours, buy the Doctor of Love book. Tonight was another good night for the Doctor of Love. Bernard, we want to thank you for coming on. We have to have you back because the hour went so fast. I'm talking about so fast that,
Right.
dude, we got to have you back.
Hey, whenever y'all are having me, just let me know and I'll be there.
You're not scared. You won't be scared, all right? It wasn't too hard on you, right? Because a lot of people was like, man, I'm not going on that show, man. You're going to embarrass me or something. I'm like, we just have fun on this show, you know?
Yo, my mom's watching, so I'm cool.
Tell mom I love her. Okay, Linda, go ahead.
But I think okay, and I think we should. I want to leave this note that I think, dialogue, one of the reasons I'm drawn to what happens on this show is the fact that, in my line of work and all the workshops I do and seminars I attended and maybe have put on myself, you don't find men engaged in this sort of dialogue. And for women, we want to hear the voice of our men. We don't want you guys to run because we ask you a question. We want to know about the vulnerable sides of you, and we want you to understand our vulnerabilities as well. So this show gives an opportunity to have male and female voices here, even the people that are in the audience. So I really appreciate that. So I just want to say to everyone, that you're special, you're important, and I hope you're taking something away from this dialogue that we have that will help you later. And secondly, you know what? Don't ever be ashamed to get help. I'm Linda Streeter. Life and love and relationship matters to me always. I am a marriage and family therapist. I'm an author that writes about love and about conflict, and certainly do a lot of behavior coaching, relationship coaching, and life coaching. So let's get help. Let's become better. You do better by being better.
Exactly. Practice makes perfect.
That's
it right there. So I want to thank you guys for coming out every Friday night from 7 to 8 p.m.
Exactly.
Pacific Standard Time. We will have an NFL athlete or a celebrity on here, a guy just answering questions, any questions you have. So feel free to, during the week, you can inbox me questions, you can inbox Linda questions, and we're going to try to get to all of them. And eventually we're going to get to the questions. So again, we want to thank you, Bernard, for coming out. And you were one of my favorite NFL players. Man, I'm glad I didn't have to come up with you against you because you's a big boy, big boy. So all right, you guys don't hang up. I'm leaving the thing, but you guys stay here. All right, y'all. We love you. Y'all be good. We out.
Good night, everyone. Love you. Thank you for being a part.